Okay, 3rd of December, Morayfield. This is a meeting for solutions, hopefully. This is the crowd. It's not a bad crowd, better than Malcolm Roberts. Mind you, it's a bigger place. And I was there for a couple of minutes before I realised who's in the front row. Okay, good old Pauline. There's a heap of paperwork here from man of councillors. You can see the paper. I don't know who they are. Councillors, Morayfield councillors. Council can't do nothing. They're not a legitimate organisation. I don't know how long I'm going to have to pause this thing because I don't know how to edit still yet. Technical idiot. Alright, this is Pauline.
Before I start, the organisers have asked me, those people that are standing up there, if any of you would like to move forward and sit on the floor, please do it, or up the hallway. You've been standing for quite some time, so if anyone wants to move forward, take a seat here on the floor, please do. Right. Good. There are some people coming forward, so if you want to do that, please make yourself comfortable. Well, I'm actually shocked by the number of people that came out tonight. Good on you. What I have always said, what I've always believed in, is people power. When I first got into local government in 1994, and I actually made my voice heard then, and I told the mayor, where's Peter Flannery? Where's your mayor here? He's not here listening to you. He's not here to see this, and the other councillors. But I congratulate Brooke Savage. Don't forget her. She's taken time to actually want to talk to you and listen to you. That's what members of Parliament elected by you, by the people, are supposed to be representatives for you. I have taken a stance with this from the very beginning. As I said over a year ago, I don't believe in mandatory vaccinations. I believe in pro-choice. I'm not against vaccinations by no means, but I will not see anyone injected with a vaccine that's untried, untested, unproven for long term. And I will be upfront with you. I have not been vaccinated. I refuse to get vaccinated. And I'm being truthful to you, my stance, and those people out there that are for the vaccine, but they know exactly where they stand with me, as I have always tried to be honest with the people on any topic, any issue, whenever I have been on the floor of Parliament trying to represent the people of my state, Queensland. Last week, I put up my bill, a private member's bill, the COVID-19 anti-discrimination bill and against mandatory vaccinations. The week before I spoke to the Prime Minister, I asked to have a conversation with him. He rang me. We spoke for half an hour. I could not get through to him the hurt and pain that this is happening on the Australian people. Could not understand and rejected my bill because part of my bill had in it the fact that the federal government can withhold funding to the states and territories if they force mandatory vaccination on people. He didn't like that part because he said it's unconstitutional. I said to him, then if you don't like it, take the bloody thing out, but make sure that you have the Solicitor General, you have the Attorney General, you have the people, so you can make the change, but don't force people to get a vaccination that they don't want. People lose their livelihoods, their businesses, their health has been affected by this. They don't get it. I put that bill up on the floor of Parliament. He guaranteed me that he would allow I want the conscience vote. He said, we allow the Liberal members to cross the floor. He said they can do what they want to do. Labor, you cannot. Labor control theirs. Labor voters or members of Parliament, Labor members of Parliament are tied first and foremost to the party policy, then they represent the people. They cannot step outside what they're told and how they should vote. And that is what happened. I was absolutely disgusted with Jackie Lambie and her rant on the floor of Parliament. She was not fair to the Australian people to have consideration for what you have the right to say what goes into your body. My bill went down. 5 members from the Liberal Party and National Party voted for it, along with Malcolm and myself. The whole rest of Parliament voted against it. 3 times I then tried to get my bill up into a Senate inquiry, a committee. That meant that you, the people, could make submissions and then have your say, that they could actually listen to you. It went down 3 times by 1 vote. 1 vote. I was devastated. I'm still devastated. I can't believe it. In a lot of ways, I feel so disheartened that I let you down. But I will not give up. I said to myself, I swear to God, I've got my staff down here. And I turned around and I said to all my staff in the office, I said, right up until the election, if any of those bastards come to me, I don't care if it's the Labor, the Greens, the Jackie Lambie, Rex Patrick or Sterling Grip, if any of them come to me for my vote, because you know what? They need my vote to get anything passed that they want on the floor of Parliament. The answer is no. When I started to say back to Senator Hanson, it might be something, I said, don't talk back to me. I told you, don't bring it to me. I'm not interested. As far as I'm concerned, they will never, ever get my support. I'm a bloody old elephant and I don't forget. And I tell you what, I won't forget the loss and that family law was a big issue for me, and it still is. There is nothing bigger facing the Australian people than now over this mandatory vaccinations and this COVID. This is the biggest issue that is threatening us as a people, our rights, and where do we go from here? I can stand here and tell you as businesses, and I was a small business person myself for many, many years, most of my life. And I tell you now, if they told me that I could not allow customers in my shop that are unvaccinated, or I had to get rid of my staff because they weren't vaccinated, I'd tell them where to go. I'd stand my ground. The comment here tonight was everyone's got to get vaccinated. No, they don't. Federal politicians don't. We have not been told we have to get vaccinated. Our staff have not been told they need to get vaccinated. Some of my staff chose to get vaccinated. That's their choice. I don't discriminate against any of my staff. That's their personal right and choice. 2 of my children are so dogmatic like me and refuse to have that vaccination. My daughter, who lives in Tasmania, didn't want to have it, but she did because she phoned up and she said, "Mum, I had to have it."
Bully.
She said, "Mum, the thought of never being able to come back home to see you, I couldn't live with that." She had no choice. And she's going to see me. She hasn't been home for a couple of years, so she's coming up in January with her 2 children. And my son said to me, "Mum, why didn't you tell her she couldn't have it?" I said, "She's a woman of 38. I don't tell her what to do. I advise, but I cannot tell her." I said, "You have to make the decision for yourself." I even tell my own children that. You can advise and you can explain, but you cannot keep telling them what to do. They have to make their own decisions. And whatever decisions they make, then you stand by them. But I can see her, I heard her hurt and pain. And not to have her grandchildren to be able to come up to home. So it has been very hard for me. The things that we've heard tonight from the nurses and different ones and the doctors. I've spoken to the doctors, I've spoken to the nurses. It's true. Do you think that the 7,000 or 8,000 nurses in this state have wanted to lose their jobs? No. These are the nurses that have actually had the previous vaccinations. And why they are seeing and denying the health authorities to take this vaccination, this jab. It's not really a vaccination, it's a jab. Is the fact that they're seeing the adverse reactions from people who have had it. That's what's happening in our hospital system. You're not told that. We haven't ever been told the truth, and that's why I kept asking questions. And whenever I went too close to the bone on these interviews that I did on Spy or other radio programs, they shut me down. They didn't want me talking about it. So I had to be shut down, or I had to be very careful what I say. The fact is that we have not been told the truth. A lot of these people that have supposedly died, they say, of COVID. Or was it really with COVID? The average death is 86. The average lifespan is 83. How the hell can a person who is in their 90s in palliative care die from COVID? I'm sorry, that garbage doesn't wash with me. We the people, and that includes me. I am an Australian, a true blue Aussie. You may have put me into Parliament in 2016, but I'm still a grassroots Australian that is still fighting for my rights and the rights of my children and my grandchildren. But more importantly, I am so proud and privileged to actually be on the floor of Parliament because you gave me that opportunity. From that day that I swore that oath, I swore I would be honest to the people of this state and to the people of this country. I cannot stand corruption, I cannot stand dishonesty, and you must be truthful to the people of this nation if you're going to be a representative of Parliament for them. A lot of these people that died from COVID haven't had any autopsies done on them. Did you know that? So they've just been written off by the doctor. Your rights have been denied to you, taken away from you. These gutless bunch of wonders on the floor of Parliament this week absolutely disgusted me.
Give us a solution.
I know the last speaker spoke about your vote at the next election. I'm not, I'm proud to have had the last nearly 6 years on the floor of Parliament. Who you vote for is something I'll tell anyone. Look at who your candidates are. Look at their policies. Look at who they stand for. Look what they will stand for, and will they stand up and fight for you. It's about putting the right people in at the next election, and I'll say the same about all your councillors' names here. Don't forget who they are. Don't forget. If I'm what can I say? You know, if people want to put me back into Parliament at the next election, so be it. Yes. I will hold that position with pride, and I will still stand up and be myself. You may not agree with everything that I say, that's fair enough. But what I say with truth and honesty, and you know where you stand with me. And it's about accountability. It's about, you will only get good government if you have got good opposition. But when they are both aligned in their policies, you won't get that good government. You have to have those independents. You have to have the crossbench. You have to have the ones that are a fear of nothing. I'm there without fear or favour. I'm there because I respect the position as a senator. I respect the position to be a representative for the people. If I can leave you with some notes. Never forget who you are. Never forget your rights or what you're capable of. You are not just a nobody. You have no right to be told or dictated to by people who've been elected to Parliament to tell you what they think is right for you. We have had people that have fought and died for our freedoms. Never forget that.
Amen.
It is up to us now then to stand our ground. If you choose to walk away from your jobs, put this state in such a chaos, they won't know what the hell to do. And it's all right for me to say that because I've still got my job and I'm still getting my pay. And I'm honest with you. But I am putting my job on the line. But the whole fact is that unless we stand united, no one will survive this. We have to fight for our future generations, and I am totally against them coming after our kids with this vaccine. Totally against it. And you have to realise that there is, I'll tell you this one, I've just heard this speak, where they're building the submarines in South Australia, the company there, about 2,000 workers, 1,700 workers. The company now is insisting that the workers have the vax to work on submarines because the Navy is the client, and the Navy, Australian Navy, is saying you will have to have a vaccination. 1/3 of them don't want to have the vaccination. So some of the young fellows that have had it, one who's a 25-year-old, has now got, it's either myocarditis or pericarditis. He's 25. They've given him 10 years to live. Understand that there is a lot of young men who have been affected by having this vaccination. They don't tell you the truth. We need to know the truth. If they were honest with us, you could bring us along on this journey. But I believe it goes bigger than that. I believe this has been orchestrated around the world by organisations. And over the years, I've been pretty spot on with a lot of bloody things that I've said over the years. And I warned you a long time ago what was going to happen in this nation, but I never foresaw this. But I'm terribly concerned where this is taking us. And the next thing that I hear is happening is the digital identity. I don't know, I can't talk to you about that because I haven't done my research on it to understand it fully, but I will be looking deeply into this. And this is about the control of the people. Maintain your own independence. Stand up for your rights. You are not sheep, you are individuals, and you have the right to your freedoms, you have a right to an opinion, and stand up for yourselves. Thank you for coming.
very much, Pauline. You stand behind what community really is all about.
That's the one I came to get.
Assistant Minister.
This is Liberal.
Assistant Minister in the Australian Government for Youth and Employment Services. We've lost Terry, so it is Terry's electorate. He's in 2 weeks quarantine at the moment after being in Parliament. I didn't go to Parliament the last 2 weeks, which is why I'm here. I'm not in quarantine. And I am vaccinated, but I still have to quarantine. So, look, tonight, I just wanted to encourage you all and say, well done for coming out tonight, because as a federal member for Petrie, I'm against mandatory vaccination and vaccine segregation.
Empowerment!
As an assistant minister in the Australian government, there's certain things I can and can't do. One thing I can't do is cross the floor, as Senator Hanson explained before, as a member for the executive.
Bullshit.
But what I have done, and Pauline will confirm that, what I have done is spoken up publicly on social media that I'm against vaccine segregation and I'm against mandatory vaccination. I've also written to constituents of my electorate that live in Petrie that have come to see me, that have been unfairly sacked, and as someone who's trying to help Australians become employed, I've been really, really upset by these mandates that states have implemented. I do want to say one thing though, and I do want to say one thing. Pauline's right. She's to in her piece. There are members of the government that are opposed to this, but the state government has not had a hit here tonight. And I do know you've got a councillor, you've got senator, you've got myself that are here. There are no state representatives here tonight. And I'm a federal member. All the states, all the 5 members in my seat are all Labor members, and they need to be heard from you that these state mandates are wrong. They were invited, but they didn't turn up. Well, look, I'm here tonight just to say that I don't support mandatory vaccination. I think it's right what you're doing, and I encourage you to keep doing it. But you do need to contact the state MPs and make sure that this does not continue, because if you do not speak up, these mandates will remain in place for a long time.
Musgrave Park on the
Part of the national agreement is that 80% restrictions are actually supposed to decrease, not increase at 80%. And what's happening here in 17th of December, just before Christmas, we're right now 85% double vaccinated, they're heading to 90%, and they're bringing in more restrictions. And so I want to encourage you to keep speaking up. I'll do what I can, and I'll continue to do what I can, but I do want to let you know that it's really important that you keep speaking up. So thank you. I'm very happy to be here tonight. Thank you, Nathan.
I love the vibe in the crowd tonight. But we'll get, exactly. But without these people coming here tonight, these very important people who can pass on our message to the rest of the government to tell them how the communities are really feeling.
I also want to acknowledge every sitting politician. It's not my desire to be a politician, it's my desire to be an elected representative for you, the people. So
I'll chat with you after you finish listening to them.
I'd like to I would also ask how their orders are buying to me as a business owner and an employee. If you haven't seen Rod's letter, which has been around 10 constitutional experts, I suggest you have a look at it. Some people are having success. We're not saying it's the be-all and end-all, the panacea, but we're certainly doing our best to try and help people with remedy, that's for sure. So, for example, going back to the public health area, if I was a small business owner, I wouldn't attack the order, I would attack the law that gives it.
I want him on video.
For example, the Public Health Act passed by has the Public Health Act been passed by the democratic process. Is it lawful at law? As far as I'm concerned, it's not. The mandate is an unsolicited demand on you. You did not bring it on. Yeah, absolutely. This is a road new for all of us, as I think Steph said earlier tonight. And there may be many people who are doing many things to try and remedy what's going on right now. And tonight's evidence of new people turning up tonight, Pauline, with Senator Riddick, with Terry Young, there's people who are trying to do as much as they can. 1 million people on the streets protested last weekend or the weekend before. I want to give you the power. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about that. Their pay packet makes that really comfortable.
So a Harvard academic team, the Harvard, not the pretend one, did a study from 1900 to 2006 on peaceful, non-violent protests and violent protests. Those that protested peacefully against their government had double the success than those that were violent against their government. Right? So be peaceful. What that academic study also revealed was that you need 3.5% of the population to stand up against the government.
We've got to start getting in their face.
And that included
this thing about sending them emails and ringing up. That doesn't get in their face. Let them know.
25.7 million Aussies. I don't know how many voters there are, maybe 14 million. But let's go with the population. 25.7 million voters, 1 million people on the streets. 900,000
got booed off the stage. He got booed off the stage.
You beat it.
Even though he stands up and says, oh, I'm against forced mandatory vaccination. He stands up and says, I'm against forced mandatory vaccination. What does he say in fucking Parliament?
And all the regional areas as well, there was probably 4 or 5 at home
he's following,
wishing they
he's not doing the will of the people, he's doing the will of his political party.
So just remember the statistics and the numbers because they will work in your favour. The government will bow down to pressure eventually. Forget the mainstream media, we all know that. I don't want to stand here and bag them tonight. But the numbers are evident in when people are getting up, they're standing up, that's unbacked, it is irrelevant. The people have had gut thoughts, maturity, and they want change. But it's got to be more than just standing up. You've got to have remedy moving forward. So, if I was a small business owner, I would emphatically say no and reject their mandates until they show me their authority to force those mandates on them.
The billions of dollars, the trillions of dollars that have been spent around the world, they could have spent $1 billion on the research.
And as you can see, there's 20 makers like me who was happy with
deliberately no money. It's deliberately no money.
Farming away, doing my own thing, who are standing up and making a change. And I'll tell you what, there's a boatload of admin people who are supporting all these events tonight. They are also the heroes that are standing up and making change, as you people are.
There's channels on the internet that tell you about this.
I've done all
I'll say that what good people in Australia have managed to do in the last 6
work on 28th of January 2020.
Imagine if we use that, how quickly have we come together as a country. Imagine if we use that to build this road for your business and currently.
Well, if you've got time, just get on the internet. Just surf the internet, YouTube. Why?
I want to say this, I may prioritise CMO Council because the amazing health wing.
I want this guy recording. That's who I'm recording for. I just happen to be pointing it your way.
You don't tune in 24/7.
But I can't get a picture.
You need to have downtime. You need to have downtime. You need to make sure you're doing stuff that you're having fun with. What is the happy hormone? Oxytocin. Get that thing pumping through your blood. Do things that make you happy and joy. Don't ignore what's going on, of course, but give yourself time. Because if you can't get yourself right, you're not going to be able to serve any other person in and around you. So make sure you manage and prioritise yourself.
Alright, that guy makes sense.
And I know personally, because I do 12 to 14 hours a day, mostly 7 days a week, and I love what I do, but I feel burnt. And I live on Brighton, and this morning I went in to serve and just laid in there, had my greyhound in my arms. It's
probably going to cost me the rest of my data. Load this one up.
Amazing, right? So it's not a living human being, we know that. It's got an ADN, sense, a dead entity. So, as the employer, they need to declare who is the controlling mind. So who is the authorised person mandating this on you or your customer? Now, if you do that, and like I said, this is one lady in Townsville we're working with, the responses come back so far from her employer they've been so evasive, and they're not prepared to put their name to it. So we're simply continuing with our quest. We're simply going down the path, following the letter, a few follow-up questions, but we're putting it on them to provide us with the information. Because they need to know, we need to know who the controlling mind is. Now, if it was me and I was a business owner, I would check with my lawyer about whether that person who puts their name out could be subject to litigation. And if I'm a shareholder in that company, I might be a little bit concerned because I could be litigated against because you've got this controlling mind doing something you've got no power to do. Absolutely no power to do. So have a think about that. That's my understanding, that's my rudimentary understanding of
this is what I came for.
So perhaps you've got a barrister or a lawyer you could actually have that conversation with. Now, before I finish, I'm going to skip through a lot here. I'm not going to talk about money and cards and grandmas because I've read a story quickly about the trial they're running with the pension card, 80% on a card, 20% cash. How many people have heard of that? A grandmother went into a store to buy a bra, couldn't buy it because it wasn't a preferred supplier. The company that runs the card. What a beautiful thing. Let me get one of those so I can choose, where people shop. The company that has the card, she had to write to them and get that store put on the card so she could go and buy a bra. Now imagine if that's your business. You're not getting business because the pensioner doesn't have your store on their card. It's just absolutely ludicrous. All right, I just want to finish with this. If one minute, because it is very hard. Perhaps a question, and I know Senator Hanson's in the room, and I know Senator Reid may be on notice now, but perhaps a question all Australians can email to all 76 sitting senators is something like this. Dear Senator, I understand a lot of Australians are calling upon their constitutional guarantees. However, it may have to be a jurisdiction set by the Senate, because as I understand it, the courts are unable to have the jurisdiction to deal with our constitutional guarantees. Would the senators be prepared to have the Senate sit as a court with 76 jurists? They're not my words, they're Rod Cullen's words. So he was a former senator, so perhaps he can share more on that. I would also ask why the Queensland senators, and maybe that's a question for Pauline, not I know, sorry Pauline, but I don't understand why we don't have an upper house in Queensland. I just don't get why we don't. I know it's state, not federal, but why don't we have an upper house in Queensland? When did the people say no to the upper house in Queensland? In 1922, they walked away and they never put it back. Where is it? Where were the people saying we don't want our Senate in Queensland? Just wasn't there. So for me, running the Senate here in Queensland, I'm running in the next federal election. I'm going to make it my personal mission to invoke the Queensland upper house as one of many things. A Ministry of Health, a true Ministry of Health, by the way. Not a Ministry of Sickness where you hear from alleged chief health officers who speak nothing about health at all. And I'm going to try and apply any retrospective legislation or any act that has been passed. It's a massive job, but we have to do it right now. We cannot simply sit back and let this continue. Thanks for your time, everyone. I really appreciate it.
See you later, mate.
The Fair Work Commission today ruled against BHP that they cannot mandate vaccines against the workers. So that's a start. Just another thing about the Section 109 of the Australian Constitution, when you have two conflicting laws, that is correct. That's why I wanted to get my bill passed in the Parliament, so we did have a federal law. You see, we don't have a federal law at the moment. That's why I got my bill passed, stopping mandating of vaccines and discrimination. Then we could rein in the states. But you can't. We don't have a federal law to enact Section 109, which will override the state law. There's another thing why Morrison will not mandate vaccines. He can't. Under Section 51(23)(a) of the Australian Constitution states that you cannot bring in civil conscription for medical procedures. So you see, Morrison can't do it. That's why he has stepped back and let the states do what they're doing, and he's too gutless to rein them in. That's the truth, right? So that's why I said we don't stand for mandating of vaccines, because under the Constitution you are protected, but he's too gutless to actually tell them what to do, and he's allowing the states to do his dirty work. That's why my bill is so important. But I will redraft the bill, I will put it back on the floor of Parliament, and great news today with the Third Work Commission found that ruling. So please remember, thanks for coming tonight. People power, we will make a difference. Good night.
I've started recording.
So where do you live, by the way?
I'm currently in Eagle Farm.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I'm itinerant. I can live in your area tomorrow.
Yeah.
All I've got to do is sign a piece of paper and I'm there.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't make any difference.
No.
You're an elected official for the Australian people, and I'm an Australian person.
Yes.
Right? So there shouldn't be any problem with you talking to me. Like I've visited your office. I've rung them up. I've tried to get appointments with you. I seem to find it easy to catch up with Trevor Evans because he has his little
He's
pop-up
your member,
offices.
mate. He's your member. So yeah, you should catch up with Trevor Evans.
I catch up with him quite
And,
regularly.
Yeah, good. Well, he's your member, and then there's 12 senators in Queensland, and as a Queensland resident, you should be able to catch up with any of those 12 residents.
They're about as hard to find as trying to grab an eel in a bucket of sump oil.
You've got 2 of them here tonight, right? So you've got Senator Rennick and you've got Senator Hanson, but there's another 10. So you should write.
There's probably going to be about 50 people wanting to talk to Hanson before me.
Sure.
The reason I'm here talking to you, for one, I've been trying to contact you for a couple of years.
Sure, yeah.
I talked to Trevor Evans quite a lot
He's your federal MP, that's
about
good.
this
Yep.
mandate
Yep.
vaccine, and
Sure.
there's quite a lot of other issues too, like some of them I can't remember off the top of my head. But I cover a lot of issues with him.
Yep.
And it is like he's a professional talker, which pisses me off. Like I got you on video before, and I was one of the organisers tapped me on the shoulder, told me not to yell out to you, right?
Well, otherwise people can't hear, right?
Every other fucking person was yelling the same thing I was yelling, that much behind me.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it was.
Yeah.
Is I was out there, I was getting it out first.
Yeah.
Now, when this girl here told me not to talk to you, I almost felt like saying, it's a free country.
So let's go. What did you want to ask me? Let's do a 5-minute interview. Okay?
All right. Now, when you said on stage that you're against mandatory vaccination, now see, I don't see politicians pushing the envelope. Why don't you just quit and go join Palmer like Kelly did?
Well, because I think I can get more done within the government. I'm an assistant minister within the Australian government, and I feel like I have good relationships with a whole lot of people there, and I can get more done than sitting on the front bench. So that's why I'm a member of the Liberal National Party, and I wouldn't quit the party.
Yeah, see, to me, when you have what they call lobbying, to me, there's a number of things I'd like to see changed. Lobbying is one of them. That's legalised. To me, that's legalised bribery.
Sure.
Like a lot of people would, when you describe to them how it works, a lot of people would agree that that is legalised bribery. Now that's opening the door for corruption because it can be abused quite easily.
I'm not sure about state parliaments, but the Australian Parliament has a lobbyist register. So, you know, I wasn't a lobbyist, but if people come to see you who are a lobbyist, as ministers in the government,
are all the conversations recorded?
No.
Anything can happen behind closed doors.
Sure.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares who registers who? I could register to see you now.
Yeah.
If the conversation's not recorded, who can say what we say?
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So there's room for corruption there. Now, there's another one called planned obsolescence, which I covered with Trevor. That's planned corruption, basically. thorium molten salt reactors. There's a dozen subjects out there where I don't think you as politicians are doing it good enough. I mean, I felt a little bit embarrassed that bloke coming up and getting aggressive with you a minute ago.
It's okay. It's all right.
Mate, he wasn't that far off hitting you. Like,
that's all right.
Things are getting passionate now, right? Do you understand this?
Yes, I do. That's
Like
why
at some stage, someone might come up and knock your teeth down your throat. Now, I don't want to see that
I have a
happen.
black belt in judo, but yeah.
I can't see you doing that any good. But
Okay, fair enough.
like I've done karate myself.
Yeah, good.
Right now, a good fighter doesn't go around looking for fights.
Yeah, sure.
But-
Anyway, look, we got 3 minutes. So what questions do you want to ask me, right?
Every day we need to get
What do you think the true solution is to all these
What?
problems? Like to all the problems. Like because the system we got now is broken. We need to fix it. How would you fix it? Don't say
I
we
think-
just go on with vote for this,
I
vote
think,
for that.
No, but I think, making your voice heard, talking directly to MPs like you do. You go see Trevor Evans, you can talk to your senators, you can talk to your state members, you can talk to your councillors. You've got to be a voice. A lot of people in the population never speak to any elected members. The reason why I'm here tonight is to represent those people in my electorate that asked me to attend. So even though I'm a vaccinated person, I don't support vaccine mandates and vaccine segregation, and that's federal government policy as well. But I try to listen to people, and you can make your voice known by talking to people like myself right now and others.
I don't think that's the answer.
Okay.
Like if you've heard of some of my videos that I've talked to Trevor, I've talked to him about a concept.
Yes.
An online voting concept where the authority gets taken away from the politicians and given back to the people by a site, something like Facebook, whereas an 18 million vote Australian think tank, where you could have a Queensland one,
So you're talking
segregated.
about like an online vote for every policy that's...
No, an online think tank, an interaction group.
Okay. Yep.
Right, not just voting. Even though like Facebook has those apps where you can vote and you can have surveys and there's money saved there straight away. You have a survey.
Yeah.
So the government can't rely on 1,063 people were surveyed here and this is what the Australian people are thinking. No, that's not what the Australian people, those are hundreds.
Now listen, I want to hear them wrap up. So if there's anything else you want to ask me,
All right.
Been going 4 minutes. What else do you want to ask me?
Just, I'll catch up with you another time.
Yeah.
Just don't be shy to talk to me.
No.
Because it's very difficult. Because I've tried your office and this time I thought I'll catch you now. Because this is the best opportunity to talk to you.
Sure. Yep.
All right, thanks for your time.